What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, this is going to be my last video for tonight. Unless something major breaks. But I do want to talk about this. I know some of you guys who are subscribed to me like to talk about politics. So, I know you guys are familiar with Robert Kennedy Jr., the son of slain Kennedy brother Robert Kennedy. And he had been seeking the Democratic nomination for president for 2024. And he and his campaign have not fared very well. All right. After an initial burst where they were in some polls polling close to 20%, he's dropped off quite a bit. I think he's like in the high single digits, maybe. A lot of that has to do with the fact that he's been shut out by the mainstream media. First of all, he's a challenge to Biden, so that's a no-no. Biden makes corporate media comfortable because he's for the status quo. So they don't want anybody really challenging Biden. And as we know, most people in the media outside of Fox News and some other entities, for the most part, people in media tend to lean liberal, which means that they generally support the Democratic Party. So they're not going to cover this guy at all right? So he recognizes that. He also recognizes that the Biden people are not going to accept his challenge for a debate. Now, on the one hand, they have a point as to why not to accept the challenge for a debate, because Joe Biden is the incumbent president. And usually, incumbent presidents don't debate individuals who are challenging them from within their own party. They don't do that. I'm trying to remember the last time or any time a sitting president has debated on national television a challenger for his party's nomination. You know what I'm saying? Not a sitting president. I'm not talking about an open seat. A sitting president. You just usually don't see that. Now, you have had people challenge the president as far as the nomination, as far as entering the primaries. And usually that's when a president has been weakened or the party is dissatisfied with his leadership. We saw that with Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter never, ever won over the liberal wing of the Democratic Party, hence why Ted Kennedy, RFK Jr.'s uncle, ran for the Democratic nomination back in 1980. Now, he was unsuccessful, but he did have some victories. Then, of course, I'm trying to think of sitting presidents. Pat Buchanan, in 1992, challenged George H.W. Bush for the Republican presidential nomination. He did get 40% of the vote in New Hampshire, but outside of that, Bush cleaned his clock, and ultimately Pat Buchanan stepped down. But this is the thing with Joe Biden, man. There's a lot of dissatisfaction when it comes to Joe Biden within his own party. Many people feel like he's just too old. That's pretty much the prevailing thing, is that he's just too old, and you can't risk him serving a second term. He's already showing a lot of decline, cognitive decline right now. A second term, I think, would be, it would just be disastrous for Joe Biden to be in office for a second term, because I really believe that that's probably going to lead to the ascension of Kamala as president. And I know most of you don't want that. So I know I've rambled a little bit, man, but I had a lot to say in this video. So, because of the fact that he's getting so much pushback trying to challenge Joe Biden for the Democratic nomination, he's made an announcement that he's going to say something major on October 9th. And many people believe what he's going to announce is he's going to switch strategies. Instead of trying to seek the Democratic nomination, he's going to forego the whole process and run as an independent in 2024. So he's going to do what Bernie Sanders never did. Bernie Sanders always challenged the Democratic nominee, whether it was Hillary in 2016 or Biden in 2020. But he never, once he was unsuccessful in those two ventures, decided to run as an independent in the election, the general election. This is what JFK Jr. is going to do, all right? Allegedly, he's going to run third party. RFK Jr. is not your typical Democratic candidate. He has a lot of views that are out of line with the current Democratic Party. He has some conservative views, but then again, he has some views, a lot of views that don't fit into the current Republican Party. So there's a debate right now on political blogs and whatnot if he ran for president in 2024. If he got the prerequisite amount of signatures, which I think he probably would. Each state has its own different rules as to what it constitutes. But anyway, if he were to get the nomination, if he were to run third party, who would he hurt more? And, I mean, you could make an argument that he could siphon off votes from Trump and Biden, but I get the impression that the enthusiasm for the Republicans is stronger than they are for the Democrats going in 2024. I don't know if the motivation is going to be as strong for Biden as it would be for Trump. Trump owns that party right now. And if anything, he's consolidated, despite all of these charges, despite all the things that have gone on. Trump has done nothing but consolidate his hold on this nomination process and the party since the failed 2022 midterms. It's amazing. In less than a year, when Trump looked like he could be possibly toppled by Ron DeSantis, he's actually strengthened his hold on the GOP party. Whereas Biden's hold on the Democratic Party has faltered considerably. I'm going to say this. Even if RFK Jr. only got, say, 1% of the vote, in extremely close states, potentially close states like, let's say, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, potentially even Nevada, right? In states like that, even if RFK got 1.5% of the vote, that could be enough. If he's taking more votes away from Biden than Trump, he could be kingmaker. He could literally swing the election to one particular candidate. And I think more than likely he would skew it more toward Trump. You know what I mean? In key states. So he could be a difference between Trump losing a close electoral election or Trump winning a relatively close election. We don't know. But, I do think it's interesting that he feels compelled to go this route because, like I said, man, the Democratic Party has really rigged it in Biden's favor, man, so that he doesn't get challenged. They've rearranged the primaries so that the first couple of primaries are in reliably, heavily black areas, black states. I think the first two primaries are going to be in South Carolina and Georgia, which are very, very heavily African American states. So Biden is just by default is going to do better. It doesn't matter what he thinks. It doesn't matter what he says. South Carolina is a state where sometimes more than 60% of the electorate in primaries, Democratic primaries, are black. So, I mean, if Biden's going to get 85% of the black vote, I mean, what do you expect? But anyway, tell me what you guys think.